up, boxing family? It is I, K-Rod here, back at it with another good video for you guys today. Yeah, let's get right into it, man. We have a lot of talk to get done for boxing talk. Yeah, let's talk about it with Demetrius Andrade and Jermall Charlo. I've always wanted to kind of break this down and basically talk about like, has Jermall Charlo been avoiding Demetrius Andrade, and is it true that Andrade really wants Jermall Charlo at 168? So yeah, let's get right into it. It's a pretty interesting topic, and I find it really weird that Andrade, he's kind of like making his move to 168 after all these years of him basically saying this is now his final road, where he's trying to make all the best fights happen at 168, and now he's over at PBC. So I think Al Heyman and the PBC, they understand that Andrade, you know, he's trying to find himself financially better with PBC, and I think this is a great step in the right direction. But now let's talk about his recent track record, because Andrade, for those of you that don't know, he was really never doing good financially speaking. Well, actually no, like that's a lie. Like he's been doing good with DAZN as far as like the money that he's been able to like rob, from DAZN. But knowing that Eddie Hearn, him trying to like lie to Andrade to say, oh no, don't worry, you're going to get this fight with Triple G and all these other guys that he wanted to fight, which it was just primarily Charlo and Triple G at 160, for those of you that want to go back in time. I think the biggest issue is just like with Andrade, he was just in a certain spot where he was fighting guys that no one's never asked him to fight. And similar to Terrence Crawford, Andrade, he's at the position of his career where he doesn't need to be fighting no more. I mean, I'm pretty sure he's doing good financially wise, but now it's just like, him trying to just get the opportunity for the big names. And I think that's our biggest issue with Andrade. Like, why did you decide to continue to do business with DAZN, knowing that DAZN's not going to ever work with PBC, which that's not entirely true, because like guys like Roger Gutierrez, he crossed over to PBC and he fought Hector Garcia, but that's never to say that Gutierrez, when he ever tries to go back for like another title, he could ever work with like another PBC fighter. And I think Al Heyman, he does a very good job crossing over with other networks, well, minus Top Rank. But I just think, like, at this stage of Andrade's career, like, I mean, he's doing a good job, no doubt, but it's just like, you could have easily done this a long time ago. And I think after his HBO days, like, I think that's where Andrade could have made it a lot better for his ceiling as a fighter. But I think what Andrade failed to do is just that you just held up your career a lot, because you decided to fight once a year once you held on to the WBO straps at, well, I mean, he had his WBO at middleweight and he wasn't doing anything. Like, he was just having his good old little, defend my belt once a year and then I'm dipping out. It's just like, I don't like that, man. It's like Andrade, like, don't get it twisted, like, he's a damn good fighter, but I've never thought that Andrade would just waste his career like that. And it's like, I get it, Andrade, he doesn't want to work as hard because he knows that he wasn't going to get any big names, and I'm not thinking that he's like moving like Bud, but it's just like, at this stage of your career, you kind of just made yourself look a lot worse in the process, because it's like, now you're on PBC, you're 34 years old, probably borderline 35, but it's like, you now have to make all the best fights. you are not in your prime no more. This is more of like the Andrade redemption season, and I think Andrade, he's gonna have a pretty interesting career for his last few days in the division. Now it's going to be speculatory to see who he's gonna fight, because I don't think Demond Nicholson's going to be a easy fight. This is a fight that we're going to be expecting fireworks in, and he will be fighting on the Gervonta Tank Davis. I think it's on the main card. That's going to open up at the main portion of that card. So that's going to be pretty interesting to see how Andrade's really going to scale. Because Demond Nicholson, he's a really big super middleweight, and he's really tough. And I'm pretty sure, knowing that this is in his hometown in DC, that's going to be like one of the best fights to see. And I think Andrade, he's going to steal the show if he actually puts his mind to it. I'm just not too sure how everything's going to scale with him, but it's going to be very interesting to see where he's going to be in this division. Because if he does look good against Demond Nicholson, which I would expect him to smoke him, but if he doesn't do what he's supposed to do, then I'm gonna look at Andrade a little bit different. I'm not going to think Andrade was like a really good fighter of his skill caliber. I'm still going to use him as a good symbol to think that he does have skills, but it's just like at this stage of your career, like I'm not gonna be surprised if Demond Nicholson beats you, because it's like this is a fight that you could have taken a long time ago, but it's like you coming into super middleweight at the tail end of your career. I mean, it's just like, to me, it just doesn't scale well. And then on top of that, you took a lot of time off after the Jason Quigley fight, and I think that's what Andrade really failed to do. He failed to stay active, man. Like, I mean, there's really nothing bad about him. It's just like, he is a good fighter, don't get it twisted. It's just like he could have made it a lot easier if he just had put himself in a better position to at least I don't know, he really screwed himself over by trying to put himself in bed with DAZN to think that he's going to get easy paydays, and it's like, it's not gonna work out like that, because it's like Andrade, he wasn't fighting nobody good. And I mean, it's sad to say he couldn't have at least crossed over with PBC sooner. And I think that's what Eddie Hearn was kind of lying about, to say oh well, we were trying to send offers to Charlo and whoever. I even heard that DAZN tried to work with David Benavidez to try to even make a fight with him and David Benavidez, but I think David Benavidez, he started asking for too much money, and I think that was the problem, because honestly, that was the whole issue, with that whole sequence, because it's David Benavidez, he was really trying to price himself out with Andrade, a guy that hasn't really put himself in position to even be in any conversation at super middleweight while he held himself a belt. But now it's I don't know, man, it's just starting to make me understand why Demetrius Andrade put himself in that position. And yeah, I think honestly, when it comes down to it, Andrade, he has a certain skill set in his ability, and where he can be in his career to be valuable. But at this stage of his career, it's just you could have done this a long time ago. And I think Andrade, he chose to be in this position because it's now, this is playing catch up now. So I don't know what's going to happen at this, at the ending stages of his career, because at this stage right now, you have really nowhere to really go other than just moving forward. Because don't be surprised if he tries to try to say oh, all right, I'm just trying to weigh out like the options, from this matchup with Demond Nicholson. Like if Demond Nicholson, if he comes out like his usual self, where he's looking good, but then Andrade, he's going to end up putting himself, in that position to potentially lose to Demond Nicholson. And let's just say Demond Nicholson, if he beats him, then I'm not gonna write off Andrade because he's still valuable at 168. But it's like, if you want to say, he could fight, David Benavidez or guys like David Morrell or Caleb Plant, like I think that's a little bit too much. And I'm not to say like that, he should not even have that fight. It's just like at this stage of your career, I mean, you just have more to lose facing them. And I think that's like the problem, because the issue is just that with David Benavidez, oh shit, yeah, with David Benavidez, like that is a very dangerous fight, but it's like we just don't know how that's going to scale. And I think that's going to be like the biggest issue, out of this fight, like alone, of how Andrade's going to look. Because if Andrade, if he looks really good, then that's going to open up the doors a lot faster for a David Benavidez or Caleb Plant fight. But I think honestly, to keep it easy, like he doesn't need them right away. And I mean, like I'm always down as for him to like fight, some other good level opposition. Like I mean, him and Lionel Thompson, that's a great fight. Shout out to Lionel Thompson, he's a beast. But I just think where things are at right now, like the super middleweight division is wide open after Canelo Alvarez probably ends up getting stripped or having to vacate, because I just don't see it really going any better. And I think that's going to be the bigger issue of like where he's going to be. Because if Andrade, if he has to end up playing this weird game of basically waiting for Canelo to vacate his titles or get stripped where he gets in position for a title, then that's going to be like the bigger problem. Because what it's going to show is that Canelo Alvarez, he has a certain moda agenda to go by, and I think that's going to be like the bigger issue, because I think that's going to show where things are gonna scale for the career of a Demetrius Andrade. But I think like how it's all gonna go down, I think Andrade, he's going to be victorious. I would hope so, because if he's not, then it's not going to look really good on his end if he loses to a guy like Demond Nicholson. And I would hope that Demond Nicholson doesn't get the victory, because I don't think Demond Nicholson is like the absolute best, but it's just like at this stage of Andrade's career, it's coming to a point where he has a lot more to lose, and Demond, he has a lot more to gain, because he's fresh and he's still at the point of his career where he can make a lot of noise real quickly. So I don't know, it's going to be very interesting to see where things will go, because if Demond Nicholson, if he could end up making some noise at whatchamacallit, if he can make noise at super middleweight and he's actually able to do what he wants to do in the division, then yeah, I mean, he could very well get the victory against Andrade. It's just that's just going to be really difficult to do. And I think that's going to be like the bigger problem, because it's like if Andrade, if he cannot solidify a victory against Demond, it's not to say Demond Nicholson is this ultimate badass warrior. It's just that you just have more to lose in the opportunity alone of like where things will go. And I'm just only saying that because it's only based off of like what I believe to even be a thing out of how I see the fight even scaling. But I don't know, I mean, it's going to be very interesting. It's going to really speak a lot of volume to see where Demetrius Andrade is going to scale. And then if he can really ever land like the Jermall Charlo fight, that'll be interesting too. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. So I don't know. I think Andrade, he should pertain himself to be successful in this fight. But if Demond Nicholson, if he wins, then I'll be very happy for him. But that's going to be very weird for Andrade to lose to a guy like him after coming off of a year and a half layoff. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see where things go, because at this stage of his career, it's only like a matter of time to see where he's going in his career. So I don't know what else he's really going to do, if he ever takes like a loss. But it's just like, at this point of his career, it's just coming to a certain level where Andrade, like he has a lot more things to focus on after boxing. And I think that's going to be like the problem, because Andrade, he has a lot more to gain in terms of how should I say, he has more to gain after boxing's over. But I think where he's at right now, it's like, this is more of like a do or die type of a career that he has left to go through. So I don't know, it's going to be interesting to see where things are going to go for his career, because I'm definitely looking forward to it with this weekend. But I think him and Jermall Charlo, if that's going to be like the fight that should happen sometime soon, then I think Jermall Charlo will definitely be in that that discussion of him having to fight him hopefully one day. So I don't know. I'm going to definitely think that Andrade, he still has it, and you know what, it'll be very interesting to see where things will go, because if he's able to solidify victory, then I think that will definitely pertain a lot of volume in terms of where he needs to be. So I don't know, man. I think it's going to be very interesting to see where things will go, and it's going to be very interesting to see where that the careers will scale for either man. So I don't know. Yeah, but that's pretty much what I have to say. Let me know what you guys have to say about it, and yeah, I'll see you guys later. Peace out, and salute to the mighty TWT and LDBC. I'm out. Peace out. Bye. Wait, hold on.